Section 8. The Cricket on the Hearth by Charles Dickens. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Cricket on the Hearth by Charles Dickens. Section 8. I am a plain, rough man, pursued the carrier, with very little to recommend me. I am not a clever man, as you very well know. I am not a young man. I loved my little Dot because I had seen her grow up from a child in her father's house, because I knew how precious she was, because she had been my life for years and years. There's many men I can't compare with who never could have loved my little Dot like me, I think. He paused, and softly beat the ground a short time with his foot before resuming. I often thought that though I wasn't good enough for her, I should make her a kind husband, and perhaps know her value better than another, and in this way I reconciled it to myself, and came to think it might be possible that we should be married. And, in the end, it came about, and we were married. "Ha!" said Tackleton, with a significant shake of his head. I had studied myself. I had had experience of myself. I knew how much I loved her, and how happy I could be, pursued the carrier. But I had not, I feel it now, sufficiently considered her. "To be sure," said Tackleton. "Giddiness, frivolity, fickleness, love of admiration, not considered, all left out of sight. Ha!" "You had best not interrupt me," said the carrier with some sternness, "till you understand me, and you're wide of doing so. If yesterday I'd have struck that man down at a blow who dared to breathe a word against her, to-day I'd set my foot upon his face if he was my brother." The toy merchant gazed at him in astonishment. He went on in a softer tone. "Did I consider," said the carrier, "that I took her, at her age, and with her beauty, from her young companions, and the many scenes of which she was the ornament, in which she was the brightest little star that ever shone, to shut her up from day to day in my dull house, and keep my tedious company? Did I consider how little suited I was to her sprightly humour, how wearisome a plodding man like me must be to one of her quick spirit? Did I consider that it was no merit to me, or claim in me that I loved her, when everybody must who knew her? Never. I took advantage of the hopeful nature and her cheerful disposition, and I married her. I wish I never had, for her sake, not for mine." The toy merchant gazed at him without winking. Even the half-shut eye was open now. "Heaven bless her," said the carrier, "for the cheerful constancy with which she has tried to keep the knowledge of this from me. And heaven help me that, in my slow mind, I had not found it before. Poor child, poor Dot! I not to find it out, who have seen her eyes fill with tears when such a marriage as our own was spoken of. I, who have seen the secret trembling on her lips 100 times, and never suspected it till last night. Poor girl! That I could ever hope she would be fond of me, that I could ever believe she was." "She made a show of it," said Tackleton. "She made such a show of it that, to tell you the truth, it was the origin of my misgivings." And here he asserted the superiority of May Fielding, who certainly made no sort of show of being fond of him. "She has tried," said the poor carrier, with greater emotion than he had exhibited yet. "I only now begin to know how hard she has tried, to be my dutiful and zealous wife. How good she has been, how much she has done, how brave and strong a heart she has. Let the happiness I have known under this roof bear witness. It will be some help and comfort to me when I am here alone." "Here alone!" said Tackleton. "Oh, then do you mean to take some notice of this?" "I mean," returned the carrier, "to do her the greatest kindness, and make her the best reparation in my power. I can release her from the daily pain of an unequal marriage, and the struggle to conceal it. She shall be as free as I can render her." "Make her reparation!" exclaimed Tackleton, twisting and turning his great ears with his hands. "There must be something wrong here. You didn't say that, of course." The carrier set his grip upon the collar of the toy merchant, and shook him like a reed. "Listen to me," he said, "and take care that you hear me right. Listen to me. Do I speak plainly?" "Very plainly indeed," answered Tackleton. "As if I meant it?" "Very much as if you meant it." "I sat upon that hearth last night, all night," exclaimed the carrier, "on the spot where she has often sat beside me, with her sweet face looking into mine. I called up her whole life day by day. I had her dear self in its every passage in review before me. And upon my soul, she is innocent, if there is one to judge the innocent and guilty. Staunch cricket on the hearth! Loyal household fairies! Passion and distrust have left me, said the carrier, and nothing but my grief remains. In an unhappy moment some old lover, better suited to her taste in years than I, forsaken perhaps for me, against her will, returned. In an unhappy moment, taken by surprise and wanting time to think of what she did, she made herself a party to his treachery by concealing it. Last night she saw him, in the interview we witnessed. It was wrong, but otherwise than this she is innocent, if there is truth on earth. If that is your opinion, Tackleton began. So let her go, pursued the carrier. Go, with my blessing for the many happy hours she has given me, and my forgiveness for any pang she has caused me. Let her go, and have the peace of mind I wish her. She'll never hate me. She'll learn to like me better when I'm not a drag upon her, and she wears the chain I have riveted more lightly. This is the day on which I took her, and with so little thought for her enjoyment, from her home. Today she shall return to it, and I will trouble her no more. Her father and mother will be here today. We had made a little plan for keeping it together, and they shall take her home. I can trust her there, or anywhere. She leaves me without blame, and she will live so, I am sure. If I should die, I may perhaps while she is still young. I have lost some courage in a few hours. She'll find that I remembered her, and I loved her to the last. This is the end of what you showed me. Now it's over. Oh, no, John, not over. Don't say it's over yet. Not quite yet. I have heard your noble words. I could not steal away pretending to be ignorant of what has affected me with such deep gratitude. Do not say it's over till the clock has struck again. She had entered shortly after Tackleton, and had remained there. She never looked at Tackleton, but fixed her eyes upon her husband, but she kept away from him, setting as wide a space as possible between them, and, though she spoke with most impassioned earnestness, she went no nearer to him even then. How different in this from her old self! No hand can make the clock which will strike again for me the hours that are gone, replied the carrier with a faint smile. But let it be so if you will, my dear. It will strike soon. It's of little matter what we say. I'd try to please you in a harder case than that. Well, muttered Tackleton, I must be off, for when the clock strikes again it'll be necessary for me to be on my way to church. Good morning, John Peerybingle. I am sorry to be deprived of the pleasure of your company. Sorry for the loss, and the occasion of it too. I have spoken plainly, said the carrier, accompanying him to the door. Oh, quite. And you'll remember what I have said? Why, if you compel me to make the observation, said Tackleton, previously taking the precaution of getting into his chaise, I must say that it was so very unexpected that I'm far from being likely to forget it. The better for us both, returned the carrier. Good-bye. I give you joy. I wish I could give it to you, said Tackleton, as I can't, thank ye. Between ourselves, as I told you before, eh? I don't much think I shall have the less joy in my married life because May hasn't been too officious with me and too demonstrative. Good-bye. Take care of yourself. The carrier stood looking after him until he was smaller in the distance than his horse's flowers and favours near at hand, and then, with a deep sigh, went strolling like a restless, broken man among some neighbouring elms, unwilling to return until the clock was on the eve of striking. His little wife, being left alone, sobbed piteously, but often dried her eyes and checked herself, to say how good he was, how excellent he was, and once or twice she laughed, so heartily, triumphantly, and incoherently, still crying at the time, that Tilly was quite horrified. "Oh, if you please don't," said Tilly. "It's enough to dead and bury the baby. So it is, if you please." "Will you bring him to me sometimes to see his father, Tilly?" inquired her mistress, drying her eyes, "when I can't live here, and I have gone to my old home?" "Oh, if you please don't!" cried Tilly, throwing her head back and bursting out into a howl. She looked at the moment uncommonly like a boxer. "Oh, if you please don't! Oh, why has everybody gone and been and done with everybody, making everybody else so wretched? Oh!" The soft-hearted Slowboy tailed off at this juncture into such a deplorable howl, the more tremendous from its long suppression, that she must infallibly have waked the baby and frightened him into something serious, perhaps convulsions, if her